Don't kill me. I am a milk first kind of gal in my cereal. Sorry. Oat milk because it goes lactose intolerant. But what's new? Hi. So the time is currently, I was meant to film this at 3 a.m. The title should be 3 a.m. but it's actually 4 a.m. now. So join me to discuss the meaning of life over a bowl of Cocoa Pops. Let's begin, shall we? Okay, so I don't really script my videos. I feel like I should. So I'll make up like literally one on the spot in my head. Like I'm gonna try and split it up into 3 sections. So like spirituality, like career, and like your own like kind of life goal and aspirations, and then relationships. And we're going to dissect different theories of what the meaning of life might be under those categories. Sound good? All right. I think spirituality is like the core of what we think of when we think of the meaning of life, especially with people who are religious and even people who aren't religious. Like I've always seen them to believe in some sort of higher power. In my religion, we believe that, I'm not preaching here or anything, but we believe that, you know, we're put on earth as a test for the afterlife, which is actually going to be like the eternal life, right? Now, this world is just made of sufferings, and how we face those challenges and stay true to our religion and, you know, stick to our core values and belief despite that, and therefore we are rewarded for that. I would be so lost without religion. I'm already lost as it is, but this really gives, and I think we all tend to do this, religious or not, but we have to, you know, we try so hard to give a meaning to our suffering, because otherwise I think we would all just go insane. Like, what is the point, you know, if we're just here to suffer? But I think most people have cracked the code at this point that That's The Wind Rises, by the way. The Studio Ghibli film was one of my favorites. We all cracked the code that, you know, challenges are sent our way for a reason. I think the quote, "everything happens for a reason," is not just a religious one, but like a general one that I feel like majority of people believe in. Everything does happen for a reason, you know. The universe comes together, it sends challenges our way, and it is to teach us something. It is to grow from that, because, you know, you can't have the sunshine without the rain. Is that the saying go? You can't have the spring without the winter. That is actually a quote from Barbie. I love Barbie. Shout out to Barbie. Not the movie though. Not the live action. To be honest, that movie was pretty existential as well, wasn't it? To conclude, I think what spirituality and religion tells us is that we're here to suffer. We're here as a test. And it's our job to find meaning in the suffering. And if that's not enough, it's to find the meaning in our survival. If I've survived this, there must be a higher purpose for me. And if I can survive this, I can survive anything. And you know, one of my favorite sayings is actually from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's that when we hit our lowest point, we are open to the greatest change. That when you hit rock bottom, you have no other direction to go except up. And that's gotten me out of some pretty dark spots. Moving on to personal goals and aspirations. Your career. Our career, our working life, we tend to associate our worth and the meaning of our existence so much with our career. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. The good thing is that it gives us a sense of purpose. Essentially, our working life is what makes up the majority of our life. And that's what keeps us sane, essentially. I know It's not always the case, especially like when you're first stepping into the world of work. You don't always get to pursue your passion, but ultimately I think that's what we're all working towards, that whatever we do as a career is something we're passionate about, something we believe in, or something we want to improve in or see ourselves in, you know, whether that's the fashion industry to express yourself, you know, creative industries, or whether that's you know, you love data and logistics, or whatever it may be. Now, for me personally, so I have done a bachelor's and master's in international relations, right? And my passion has always been to work for NGOs, work for the UN, basically working in a way where I can physically see that I'm impacting people's lives and I am helping people who are, you know, in the worst of situations in this world. Because I truly believe in, I'll touch more on this in the relationship side, but I truly believe that 7 billion people on this earth weren't put on this earth to solely think about themselves. We're here to help each other. That is one of the beautiful parts of, you know, humanity and the human race and human nature. And oh god, I don't want to sound like a hippie or anything, but you know, that's what I truly believed in. And when I say past tense, we'll touch on that more later. But that was my driving passion, you know. It's such a huge source of fuel for me that I'm dedicating my life to bettering the world. I think, you know, we all have one of those like life-changing moments. I had one spiritually. It's a bit personal, so I don't want to talk about it, but it was pretty much the lowest point in my life during the first year of my bachelor's. And the second moment was in the second years of my bachelor's. My bachelor's, as you can see, was a very impactful, tumultuous time of my life. But during the second year, we took a trip to New York. It was one of my dream destinations to visit. And at New York, we got to go to the UN headquarters. And I was in the General Assembly room. You know, world decisions, the fate of our world is decided in that conference room. And I remember we were on a tour, we were with this tall lady, and like my course mates and the tall lady had kind of gone off, and I was there and I was looking up at the ceiling. And if you ever have a chance to visit, oh my god, the ceiling is just like Sistine Chapel. I'm joking. No offense to Michelangelo. But there was this moment where I looked up to the ceiling and I was taking in that whole room around me, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to make an impact. I want to come back into this room one day as an important figure and have a say in making this world a better place. Fast forward 2 years after that, after I graduated from my bachelor's, I actually got an internship with the UN to work at the Asia Pacific headquarters in Bangkok. Well, yeah, for so long I had like associated the meaning, the purpose of my life to this. However, when you enter the corporate world, you realize things are not always as it seems. Not even in the NGO world. NGOs as well, I realized, essentially are businesses. They say non-profit, but it was just a very eye-opening experience. And let's just say it really kind of hurt my soul. I loved it, but it really changed my perspective and it really demotivated me. And then COVID happened and it was all sorts of things, and it kind of just went into the slump. I came back to UK, I did my master's. And I was kind of lost for a while. I was drifting. I still am. That's the phase of my life that I'm in right now. And yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, you know, what I'm passionate about, and really like trying to take the right step, trying to take the right first step into my career. Alongside that, my passion in terms of hobbies, like my interest is I love reading, I love writing, I love books, I love anything to do with books, all right? I love smelling them, I love reading them, I love looking at them, I love listening to them. No, I don't really listen to audiobooks, to be honest. Yeah. And that's another purpose of mine. I want to write. I want to like, I think authors and writers are like, and musicians and anyone who creates art of any form, they are immortalized through their, you know, creative projects. And that's another thing. Like, I've never really cared for fame, but I want to be remembered in the sense that if I do write something, and even if one person reads it and it impacts their heart, like they take a quote away from it that just changes the trajectory of their life and they pass it on to their children, oh my god, like that would just, life made. Meaning of life. Cut the cameras, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's a cereal. I promise you I'm not high. But I'm just very, this is when I'm at my most energetic, at 4 a.m. My mom probably wants to kill me. Also, I think there's something so profound of me eating a breakfast cereal that I ate when I was like 6, sitting on the floor with a Studio Ghibli film on, talking about the meaning of life. I feel like I've just come full circle whilst I'm in my 20s and feeling lost. I'm like reconnecting with my inner child here. The downside I want to touch on putting too much of our worth into career and our purpose is that one failure, which is bound to happen in any career, in any like business venture that you do, whatever, failure is inevitable. And it's often out of our controls, you know, like it's to do with external factors. And when that happens, we can't help but associate it with our personal worth, with our capabilities. And it can really take a toll on you. It can take a toll on your mental health. And so I think there should be a balance in making career like the purpose of your life and use it as a drive to keep you going, rather than something you attach so much to yourself that if like the tiniest mistake happens, you're like, oh my god, like my life is over, like there's no meaning, there's no purpose to any of this, you know what I mean? So yeah. Now onto relationships, quite possibly my favorite part of the video. Thanks for tuning in so far if you have. So I still have some cereal left. It's kind of soggy now though. And the movie's ended. So relationships. Wowza. Again, not to sound like a hippie, but I am a lover of poets, okay? I'm a lover of poetry, so I'm gonna kind of be approaching this topic from that aspect, so, you know, cringe alert or whatever. But I think what the meaning of life boils down to, and I said this, kind of touched on this previously, is we're on earth to help each other. And I discuss this with my friends so much, but I hate how selfish this world has become, how much we value selfishness and prioritize selfishness under the pretense of self-care. Self-care does not mean that you completely abandon the needs of your loved ones and those around you and use it as an excuse to treat them poorly or to avoid accountability for your actions to protect your peace. It doesn't work like that. We are designed to want and nurture human connections. And in order to do that, spoiler alert, you cannot be selfish. And that's one of the things, like, is like a personal philosophical thing that I work towards and have kind of made like into my purpose, is that I try every day to be selfless, to strive towards being selfless and humble and down to earth, and to just be there for people, to be there for the ones I love. And that's another reason why I had such a crisis with like this whole saving the world thing, is because I was like, you know, sometimes I would get into arguments with friends or family, and then I would prioritize myself, and then I was like, if I can't even help those around me in my own household, how am I gonna save the world? You know what I mean? How can I expect that of myself? And lately I can't even help myself. I'm struggling so much. So again, how do I, you know, so yes, self-care is important, protecting your peace is important, but once you get the self-care down, you need to be there for people. And you know, it is my firm belief that any love that you put out into the world, even if you don't receive it back from the person, which I know can be shit, because you know, we start expecting like, I did so much for this person, why aren't they now coming in my time of need? But that love that you give will never be wasted. If I guarantee you one thing, I promise you it will never be wasted. It will always come back around in the form of another person, another thing, another opportunity from God. Like, that love will come back to you. So there are so many things to regret doing in this world, but giving someone love, helping someone, is never one of them. Never. So yeah, I think that is one of the biggest meanings of life, at least to me, is helping those around you. Because if you're not helping people on this earth with 7 billion people, what are you doing? Like, oh, I don't know. It's not for me. A selfish existence, personally, I refuse, I rebuke, I avoid that type of existence. And it sucks because that's how modern times have been designed. Like, and I feel like a lot of it comes from Western culture, like hyper individualism, and I hate that. Like, I very much respect community culture, you know. I want to bring that back. I want to bring it back. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, even that can be toxic, but oh my god, there's something about hyper individualism. And you know what, I feel like that's the main source of like so much depression and like decline in mental health these days. And like, it's crazy to me, I was discussing this with my mum the other day, it's crazy how there's 7 billion people on earth and we all feel lonely. Like, loneliness, the feeling of loneliness is at an all-time high. And it's crazy because we're all feeling lonely, like, and we can just easily resolve that by like spending time with each other, but we just don't. Like, we tend to isolate. Like, when did this become a norm? I want to study this human phenomenon. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I've racked your guys' brain now quite enough. Sorry if this didn't make any sense, but I guess that's also the meaning of life. It doesn't always make sense. It's very complex. But anyway, let me know what your meaning of life is, or if you took anything away from this video, or if you want to add anything. Let's have a discussion down in the comments. Let's all get our 4 AM philosophical brain juices running and going. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. And hopefully I don't disappear for 6 years this time. Bye!